It's Sunday night. I just got done shooting 2 PRS matches, club matches this weekend. And Friday before the matches, I posted that I had a handful of things I wanted to work on this weekend. One of which was I stated that I wanted to practice dialing my turret instead of doing holdovers. Someone asked, what did I mean? So, wrong or right, I imagine there's a bunch of different ways to do this. This is what I was doing and what I tried to do this weekend. So, obviously, I've got my Kestrel, and I take this exact stage as an example. And what I used to do was I would go through and I would run my numbers for target 1, 2, and 3, the distances, and I'd look down and say exactly what the mill elevation was the Kestrel gave me, right? Whatever the Kestrel gave me, I would write that down. And now that 1.06 mils, 1.27, 1.81. So that's the exact mill elevation I need. Now, prior to this, what I would do is I'd do the math. So I would dial 1 mil on my scope, and then I would hold the difference between target 2 and 1. So if the target 2 was 1.27 is what its elevation was, my hold would be 0.3. So I dialed 1 mil of elevation, and I would hold 0.3. When I went to target T3, because I had dialed 1 mil, I would hold 0.8. So what that would look like is I would come in here and I would dial 1 mil. All right. So I dialed 1 mil, and then when I go under the scope, I would literally go to the reticle and I would hold 0.3. So I'd hold 0.3. So this is 0, 0.25, 0, half a mil, 1 mil, mil and a half, 2. So I'd hold right about there. I'd kind of shoot the gap difference, scale it, and then I'd hold 1 or 0.8. That would be corresponding to those holds. Now, the way I know that, or remember those numbers, is on my flag. So when I'm under the rifle, I'm left-handed, so I'm cycling, operating the rifle on the left hand. My right hand was this. So my target card that I've got written on here has target 1. I know hold there because I dialed that 1 mil of elevation. That's my note to what to dial it at. So I'd dial 1, but I'd hold there. So I'd go shoot the first target, no hold, dead nuts on. When I went to target 2, I'd have to hold up 0.3. When I would shoot target 3, I'd have to hold up 0.8. And then here's just what the sequence was. This sequence was moving in your first position, shoot 3, 3, 2, 2. So all 4 rounds. We go target 3, target 3, target 2, target 2. So obviously here I'll be holding 0.8, 0.8. When I go to target 2, I'd hold 0.3. So it allows me to just acquire the target, hold the reticle, squeeze the trigger. Then I'd move positions to position 2. And then in this case, we had to shoot target 1, 2, and 3. So I'd come under target 1, aim right at it, shoot. Target 2, hold. Target 3, 0.8. And then when I got to here, I go 3, 2, 1. Same thing backwards, all right? So this is the old way of doing it, or the way I had been doing it. So what I wanted to try this weekend was something a little different. So this weekend, the thought was, I actually want to put that on the turret. The way I did that is, I take a dry erase marker, I would dial to 0.1, and I'd put a mark at 1 mil. Now, the next is 1.27, so I'd come to 1.27, whether I'm going to hold 1.2 or 1.23, so pick which one you're going to do. What I do there is I would mark that with 2 dots. All right. Now, when I would go to target 3, it's 0.8, so 1.8 total. So I go to 1, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then here, I'd put 3 dots. 2, 3. And the marker's dying. Anyway, so what I do now is, when I come up to the target, I dial my initial dope. So I've dialed my initial dope. Yeah, right there. So I dial my initial dope, go under glass. Now in this case, it's target 3. So I dial target 3. So I'm on target 3. I pull the trigger, shoot target 3, 3 twice. When I would then dial up to target 2, shoot target 2 twice. Then move, reach up, dial to target 1. Right? Dial, run, shoot, dial, shoot, dial. And that's what I meant by dialing. So I would actually dial a turret. So the thought was, my thought process was, I was taking more time when I would zoom in or get onto the target. I was taking more time trying to make that interpretation right there, right? Trying to interpret 0.27, 0.8 on the reticle. And I felt that that time on the target was slowing down my process, right? So the thought was, as soon as I break that round, I watch the follow through. Before I move, I reach up and I do that. And then I move on to the next target. So to me, the thought was, how much time did I burn right there doing that before I went to the next target? And my hope was that that would allow me to be more accurate, less interpretation errors, because that feels to me like something that I'm kind of doing without thinking about it, right? I've broke the shot. Before I pick up a move, I just dial to the dots. I know where I'm going next. I'm going to target 2. I dial the 2 dots. I'm going to target 1. I dial to the 1 dot or the solid line. To me, and then I move, right? And then when I get the target, as I'm getting on target, acquiring the target, getting in position, and make sure I got a good MPA, and then working on my trigger process, I'm not having to think, all right, let's interpret the reticle. Anyway, that's what I meant by dialing, and that's the process I tried. How did I do this weekend? Shot better than I've shot before. I'm a mid-pack shooter. Well, I'm a bottom of the half-pack shooter, trying to work my way up, getting better at it. This is my 6th or 7th match I shot at the club locally. So just figuring out what works best for me and what makes me more accurate. And just trying to see how to get better at this whole thing. Anyway, that's what I meant by dialing. Hope it makes sense. If you do something different, let me know. I'd be really curious to find out what everybody else does, because if I like your way better, I might just steal your way. Anyway, all about getting better. Take care, guys. Happy shooting.